today so still we have studied about right still we have studied about electrostatics and electric field. Now we discover the magnetostatics, right? So under this we can able to see what is the process to finding the magnetic force, and so definition of Ampere circuital law and definition of Biot-Savart law, application of Biot-Savart law, and application of Ampere circuital law we will see in this unit. Listen once again. So in this unit we need to see that so definition for the Biot-Savart law, definition for the Ampere circuital law, application of the Ampere circuital law, and application of the Biot-Savart law. So these are the major things which we need to cover in this unit. So see the first concept. Let me define the electromagnetic force first. So which is quite similar. We see in our first concept in the electrostatic is force. So similar way here also we need to see the magnetic force is first. So then we will go for the magnetic fluidity, and then we will see the magnetic field intensity. So that is the flow here. Electromagnetic force is given by a Lorentz force equation. So right. So Lorentz force equation. So Hendrik Anton Lorentz is a Dutch scientist. He invented the Lorentz force equation in the year of 1853 to 1928. So according to he is saying the force F is equals to Q of capital E plus U cross B. Listen carefully. Force F is equals to Q of E bar plus U cross B. So this is the force which is raised by the electromagnetic force, which indicates that which containing electric force as well as the magnetic force. So right, it is the electromagnetic force. When you split this equation, we will recognize that force F is equals to charge into electric field intensity plus charge into magnetic flux density, where capital so here so we can able to find the electromagnetic force only by the magnetic force. So this is the formula for electromagnetic force, which means that it is a force raised by the electric field as well as the magnetic field. So that is why it is called as the electromagnetic force. So according to the Lorentz law or Lorentz force, he is a Dutch scientist. He invented the equation that is F equal to Q of E bar plus U cross B, where U is the velocity of the charge, B is the magnetic flux density. See here, the Lorentz force equation is quite useful in determining the path charged particles will take as they move through electric and magnetic fields. So the Lorentz force equation is useful for determining the charged particle moving through the electric and magnetic fields. So according to the Lorentz, the equation is very essential to determining the path charged particle moving through the electric as well as the magnetic fields. And so where if we also know the particle mass, so that if we also know the particle mass equal to m, the force related to the acceleration by the equation F equal to ma, so it's which is already we have seen in our lower classes. Force F equal to ma, where m is a mass and A is the acceleration. So from the above first equation, can we split for finding the force in a electric field alone? Then Fe is equals to Q into E. So right, so this is the force only for electric charge. See, are you clear this slide? See, first here we have to see about magnetic force, electromagnetic force. So which is a force raised by the electric field as well as the magnetic field. That is why it is called as the electromagnetic force. So electromagnetic force, it's a equation which is given by the Dutch scientist named by the Lorentz force. Lorentz. So according to the Lorentz, he described the force F is equals to Q of E plus U cross B, where E is the electric field intensity, U is the velocity, and B is the magnetic flux density. See, so from this you require only electric force, then F equal to Q into E. F equal to Q into E. So it indicates that F suffix E, which means that force by the electric field only. F suffix E means force by the electric field. F equal to Q into E. And similarly, for finding the magnetic force is the second element in a given equation. Second element in a given equation is what? F equal to Q into U bar U bar cross B bar. You see, you can split that equation F suffix M, which is nothing but force by the magnetic field. The second term of the Lorentz force equation, so the second term in the Lorentz force equation represents the magnetic force, so which is denoted by F suffix M. So moving charge Q suffix C is given by F suffix M is equals to Q into U bar cross B bar, where U is the velocity and B is the magnetic flux density. Up to this clear? So what is magnetic force and what is electric force? What is electromagnetic force? By the Lorentz force we can see. And next, a very important point over here, the magnetic force is a right angle to the magnetic field. The magnetic force is at right angles to the magnetic field. The magnetic force requires the charged particle be in a motion. When so based on these two conditions, we can able to say that whenever the magnetic charge is rising, that the moving charged particle due to the moving charged particle only chance of raising the magnetic force, that we have to note down here. The magnetic force requires that the charged particle be in motion. When the charged particle is motion, then only we will get the magnetic force, otherwise we cannot recognize any magnetic force. And the magnetic force is at right angle to the magnetic field. Always the magnetic force is placing a right angle to the magnetic field. So that is, this is the equation which describes that magnetic field or magnetic force always right angle, that is cos 90 degrees. The work done on W is equals to work done by the magnetic field W is equals to applied force on a line, so that is F dot dl. So line is, the force has been lying always 90 degrees to the field, so that is why the work has done is equals to integral of F dot dl into cos 90 degrees, right? And this is about magnetic force. Have any doubts? So shall we repeat? Otherwise, we shall move to the next concept. Ma Jayapriya. Yes, any doubts in this? See, once again, so here we have to study about the electromagnetic force. So that is discovered by the Lorentz equation or Lorentz. So Lorentz force equation is describing the electromagnetic force. The Lorentz equation described F is equals to Q into E bar plus U cross B bar. So here E bar is the electric field intensity, U bar is the velocity of the charge, B is the magnetic flux density. So this is the electromagnetic force. From this I want to split electric field or electric force followed by the magnetic force. In the equation, first element will describes about the electric force and second element will describes about the magnetic force. So that is I have splitted here. When you splitted this, you will find the Fe is equals to Q into capital E and Fm is equals to Q into U cross B bar. And here I can also represent F is equals to F suffix E plus F suffix M, where F suffix E is the force due to electric field, F suffix M is the force due to magnetic field. So right, can I go for the next topic? So now please raise your voice. If you do not have any doubts, means shall I move for the next concept? Please somebody respond.
Yes, sir.
So no doubt. If you do not have any doubt, means let me move for the next topic. Okay, next one is an important concept. So Biot-Savart law. So this one is a very important. So with the help of the Biot-Savart law, first of all, so we see how this helpful to me. How the statement of the Biot-Savart law, with the help of the Biot-Savart law, what I can able to recognize. So these are the question we need to discuss before going to the topic. So here, with the help of the Biot-Savart law, I can able to recognize the magnetic field intensity. Our first point is, with the help of the Biot-Savart law, I can able to recognize the magnetic field intensity. If I know the magnetic field intensity, I can able to find the magnetic flux density or vice versa. So with the help of the Biot-Savart law, I can able to find the magnetic field intensity or magnetic flux density. And we have a different application, so like line charge, surface charge and volume charge. So for all these charges, my Biot-Savart law has been applicable. If Biot-Savart law is applicable on a line charge, what will be the magnetic field intensity for a line charge, and what will be the magnetic field intensity due to the surface charge, and what will be the magnetic field intensity at a point due to the volume charge. So these are the again three application we need to see with the help of the Biot-Savart law. So have you cleared about importance of Biot-Savart law? See here, Biot-Savart law importance. With the help of the Biot-Savart law, I want to calculate the magnetic field intensity and magnetic flux density with the help of the Biot-Savart law. And we have a one more alternative law here in this magnetostatic is Ampere circuited law. And these two are very important laws in a magnetostatics. One is Biot-Savart law, second one is the Ampere circuited law. Throughout this magnetostatics, we need to see these two laws and their applications. So throughout this unit, we have to study about Biot-Savart law and its application, Ampere circuited law and its application. See, So now let us see the Biot-Savart law definition. So shortly followed Oersted discovery that the current produces the magnetic fields. Jean-Baptiste Biot and Flexi-Savart, right here, Jean-Baptiste Biot and Flexi-Savart arrived at a mathematical relation between the field and the current. See here, there are two scientists named by the Baptiste Biot and Flexi-Savart have discovered the Biot-Savart law. That is what the law itself it says, Biot and Savart law. According to that, so he is giving the mathematical relation between the field and current. So here I is the current, H is the field, dl is the line. See here, according to the total field resulting from the current, you can sum of contributing from each segmentary of integration. See here, according to Biot-Savart law, H is directly proportional to the length of the charged particle dl and current passing through the line. So that is dH is directly proportional to the IDL, and so directly proportional to the angle which meets to the sine theta. So that is here, instead of the sine theta, he can place the vector analysis, that is A of 1, 2. So for avoiding the proportionality constant, let me substitute 4 pi r. So 1 by 4 pi is a proportionality constant. So from this, Biot-Savart law equation gives the mathematical representation dH2 is equals to I1 dL1 into A12. So A12 is the unit vector along the path. See here, point P2. We have to find the magnetic field intensity at a point P2 due to the line. The line is carrying a current is I. So let you assume this is the line. A differential length have been considered here, and this line is carrying the current is I1. So due to current carrying conductor, what might be the field intensity is available at a point P2. So that we need to say with the help of the Biot-Savart law. So according to the Biot-Savart law, the field intensity is directly proportional to the current carrying and differential length, that is I dot dl, and inversely proportional to the length between the current conducting element to the point P, and also meet an angle sine theta. So this is the vector represented equation. So that is dH2 is equals to I1 dL1 cross A12. Here A12 is the unit vector along to the direction of my field point P, and R is the distance between the current carrying element to the point P. So where 4 pi is the constant. So this is the definition or a statement by the Biot and the Savart. So it is named as the Biot-Savart law. So from this I require only H, means let you go for the integration on the both sides, you will get only H. You will get only H, where H equal to integral of IDL cross AR by 4 pi R square, where IDL is I is the current carrying, DL is the differential length of the conductor, AR is the unit vector along the DH side, 4 pi is the constant. So right, so this is the formula which help us to calculating the magnetic field intensity at any given point. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in Biot-Savart law? It's a very important law. Can you please switch on your mic and say response?
No, sir.
So you have any doubts? Again, we can discuss because it's a very important. Based on this, we have 3 more applications. So that is Biot-Savart law on line charge, Biot-Savart law on surface charge, Biot-Savart law on volume charge. If it is not understandable, we cannot go further. See, nothing is here. So I'm once again saying, listen carefully. So assume there is a current carrying conductor. So this is the line which is current carrying line. So in this line, current is I1. So it is indicated by I1. And so due to I am picking one sample area from the line, so that will be considered as a DL, a differential length. So due to this differential line charge, what might be the magnetic field intensity is available at a point P2 that we have to recognize. That point P2 is having a distance from the DL is R12, and along with the unit vector R12 is A12, right? So now I want to frame a statement. It is that the DH is directly proportional to the length of the current carrying line and the current. So that is DH is directly proportional to I1 into DL1. That is the equation 1. And DH is inversely proportional to the distance square of the distance between the current carrying element to the field point. So that is DH2 equal to DH is directly proportional to 1 by R square. So make it as equation 2. From the equation 1 and equation 2, we can conclude the finalized equation DH2 equal to I1 DL1 into A12 divided by 4 pi R12 square. So from this, it's a differential magnetic field intensity. I do not want the differential magnetic field intensity. I require just magnetic field intensity. For that, let me do the integration on the both sides. You will get the magnetic field intensity. H is equals to integral of I dot dl into AR divided by 4 pi R square. So this one is a generalized formula to recognizing the magnetic field intensity with the help of the Biot-Savart law. Any doubts regarding Biot-Savart law? See, any queries regarding Biot-Savart law? So there is no queries means we will see the Ampere circuit law in the next class. Any doubts in this? Please, you have any doubts, you raise your voice. Okay, we'll see the Ampere circuit law in the next class.